Hello and welcome to the DEFCON Warning System Digest. I am Thomas Lonelywolf, the director of the DEFCON Warning System. Today is the day after Christmas, and we are going to be doing our annual Ask Me Anything. This is where you can log on to our site, go to the Twitter, Facebook, and ask me any question you want within reason, and I will do my best to answer that. Now, we have a community forum on our website, defconwarningsystem.com, and you can ask us any question anytime there, but for some reason, if you're just really shy or don't want to create an account or anything like that, we do this once a year. Just in case you want to know, if we're creating an account, we don't sell your information or your emails. We keep that all private or anything like that. So don't worry about your privacy or anything like that going to the site. So that's a good way to support us, because we do make our money by ads and stuff like that. So please do turn off your ad blockers and stuff like that. That's how we make the money. That's how we are able to afford the cameras to do this, and to be able to afford to run the site, pay for the servers, and all the stuff that we do for DEFCON Warning System. So that's your way of supporting us. We don't use paywalls or anything like that. You're not going to be blocked from getting any of our information if you can't afford to pay or don't want to pay. It's all free. So that's how you support us, by going to our site, and turning off your ad blocker. So here we go. The Ask Me Anything within reason. Okay, first question. I've read somewhere the Pentagon recently just gave Ukraine the go-ahead for long-range missile strikes deep within Russia, which we've seen happen several times over the past week. Is this by any means an official escalation from the United States? Also, does this officially make this a proxy war between the U.S. and Russia? It kind of doesn't matter whether this actually makes it an official escalation. It doesn't matter if this officially makes this a proxy war between the United States and Russia. It's, what does Russia think? And Russia thinks this is a proxy war, and so that is how they are going to respond. They've been trying to drag Belarus into this. They've been getting munitions from North Korea and Iran, which kind of speaks to how well Russia is doing on their own supplies. So, but North Korea and Iran, they've got their own supplies. Iran's got their own proxy wars going on. North Korea, that's a good way for them to get some hard cash because of the boycotts that are going on in that country. So those are some open supplies that Ukraine is not going to be able to. Is going to have a hard time to stop, and the Western rose is going to have a hard time to stop. So that's kind of where it is. It's not an official proxy war as far as the United States is concerned, but it certainly is as far as Russia is concerned. So they can only react so much, because they really don't want to cross a line where NATO has to respond militarily. We all know that Russian joke, General, how's Russia's war going against NATO? Oh, well, we've lost 100,000 troops and 700, tanks and vehicles and planes, and we don't have air superiority, and it is very, very difficult. We've lost land, and the war is not going very well. And, well, General, how's the war going for NATO? Russian general responds, NATO has not yet arrived. So that's kind of how things are going with Russia. But anyway, that's the answer to that question. If you're new to these digests, you'll notice I kind of ramble and go on in tangents. So I'll try not to do that too often. Next question: how many people on the DEFCON warning site have a personal or group fallout shelter? Not too many. Not too many that I know of. The United States really isn't big on shelters, so if you're going to have a shelter, you're going to be building it yourself at an enormous cost. I know a lot of our people on there have bug out plans and things like that. One staff member has a boat. He plans to get out of there into the ocean if the nukes ever fly. I'm personally building a fallout shelter. Other people have places they can escape to, which are not in blast zones, or they are situated in areas where the radiation theoretically may not be so bad, but so we're not as prepared as we'd like to be. I don't think anyone is really as prepared as we'd like to be. I don't know of anybody who has a formal fully built fallout shelter. And, maybe if they did, they wouldn't say anything because they don't want anyone to know that they've got a fully stocked, ready to go fallout shelter, because they don't want what happened in the Twilight Zone episode called The Shelter to happen. So anyone who has a fallout shelter is probably going to keep that information to themselves. Will the site still be able to report posts via shortwave radio in a national emergency? We are trying to get some ham radios together, ham radio operators together, in order to be able to broadcast. Right now, we don't have that. We had somebody who was going to be organizing that. He kind of dropped out. So it is something that we want to do, but it is not something that we have right now. We are really, really trying, because we know in an emergency, the internet may not be as reliable or even available, especially in a full-scale nuclear war. We have plans to broadcast during a full-scale nuclear war and its aftermath, but right now we kind of don't have the shortwave radios. I'm not a ham radio operator myself. I kind of don't have the interest in that, but it is something I'm going to have to at least procure in order to be able to do my job, and other staff members are going to, in order to do their job, they're going to need those too. So we're trying. So if anybody's really interested in that, we do have a radio operations sub-forum in our forum, so feel free to join that, and maybe we can get something together. Next question: Sora, Adama, Rosalind, Six, and crew in a perpetual cycle or multiverse? I am ready for that question. I said this is the day after Christmas, and I got this Viper pilot jacket right after Christmas. So I don't have the collar pins yet. I'm going to be ordering those, but yeah, I am good to go. I actually had the opportunity to buy a full-on Colonial Warriors uniform, including the jacket and the actual uniform, but it was years and years ago, and I couldn't afford it at the time, and now I'm kind of kicking myself that I didn't do it. But there it is. If anybody knows where I can get a Colonial uniform, please let me know. I want to buy one. But Adama, Rosalind, no, I don't think they're in a perpetual cycle. None of them are certainly not in a multiverse. The way that it was presented was that, at least as far as the 12 Cylons went, number 6, number 2, number 8, all of them, they seem to cycle. They'd live, they'd die, they'd come back, and all this has happened before, all this has happened again. But for the humans, it would seem that they didn't live, but the civilizations would rise and fall according to the same cycle. So as we saw, the colonies, developed this AI, which eventually turned around and killed them. And then at the end of the series, we saw on modern Earth that the Earth people were developing AI, and of course it will rise up and destroy us. Probably when Skynet takes over or something like that. So it's cyclical. It's not a multiverse. So that ends the Battlestar Galactica portion of the Q&A. We now return to our regular Ask Me Anything series.
Section 12, Launch Bay Alpha, standby to launch fighter probe.
Acknowledge input, recorded, and functioning.
Vector coordinates coded and transferred. Acknowledge.
Acknowledge, ready to launch.
Core systems transferring control to probe craft. Launch when ready.
Are you a Star Trek or a Star Wars fan? If a Star Trek fan, what do you think of the new series Alex Kurtzman has put out, Picard, Discovery, and Strange New Worlds? I am a Star Trek fan. I never got into Star Wars. When Star Wars came out, I was more interested in Close Encounters of the Third Kind. That was my favorite movie until Battlestar Galactica came out. So I never really got into Star Wars. I've seen the first 3 with Luke Skywalker, and I saw the prequels, which were just truly awful. I actually kind of liked Return of the Jedi, so I guess I'm kind of an outlier on that. But the prequels were terrible. I saw the Disney version. I saw the first one with the girl Jedi. I saw bits of the second one, and I didn't see the conclusion, Last Jedi or whatever it was called. I never, and I've not seen any of the spin-offs, so I'm not really into Star Wars. But as far as Star Trek goes, I haven't seen Picard or Discovery. I don't get Paramount Plus, so I haven't seen it. I kind of don't like prequels, so I really wasn't into Discovery or Strange New Worlds, but I've seen clips of Strange New Worlds, and I kind of want to see it now, but again, no Paramount Plus. But it's kind of interesting. I don't know what they're doing with continuity. I saw this clip just last night, actually, where apparently in Strange New Worlds, where Pike is battling a Romulan with Kirk on the Farragut, which is, I don't know how that works with the Kelvin timeline, because apparently Kirk went straight to the Enterprise in the Kelvin timeline, but here he is on the Farragut, which is where he was supposed to be according to the old show, the classic show, but the original series, whatever the terminology is. But and they were doing lines exactly as it was from Balance of Terror. So I don't know how Strange New Worlds is working in this new timeline. So I'm kind of interested in see it. But so sorry, I'm more of a Star Trek fan. I had various models of the Enterprise. I had a Galileo 7. I had a Klingon ship, a Romulan ship, things like that. So I was a typical boy. Okay, is there an internal DEFCON system inside our U.S. government that is only known to certain government employees, offices that are not displayed publicly? Yes, there is. It is actually is a crime to reveal what the actual DEFCON level is. We certainly don't want our enemies knowing that, and of course they don't want the public knowing that, because it create a panic, because the different branches go to different levels now, depending on what's going on. And if somebody hears that they're at DEFCON 3, people are going to just go nuts, not really understanding what DEFCON 3 is to that particular branch. There used to be just like one DEFCON level, and that was NORAD. So now it's kind of split up between different branches. So yes, there is a DEFCON system inside. We did get our name from the DEFCON defense condition from the U.S. government. I actually got it. I think I mentioned this in a previous Ask Me Anything, where I got it from War Games. I saw War Games and I just loved the idea. So that's where I got the DEFCON warning system from. It was from War Games.
We have a launch detection. We have a Soviet launch detection.
B-Muse, confirmed a massive attack.
That's a warning, no malfunction.
Confidence is high. I repeat, confidence is high.
Cobra Dane, is this an exercise?
Negative, this is not an exercise.
General, DBS is tracking 300 inbound Soviet ICBMs.
Tell me this is one of your simulations, Mr. Kittredge. All right. Flush the bombers, get the subs in launch mode. We are at DEFCON 1.
DEFCON
1?
I have done research on the possibility of an EMP as a first strike, and the fact that it could possibly take out 90% of the population. Are these true facts? No, it is not. At least not. It won't take out 90% of the population. That's not what EMP weapons do. They destroy the electrical grid. So it could take out 90% of the electrical grid. It could take out 90% of the electricity in the United States, in the continental United States. In theory, this is all theory. There are other theories that it just may not work as good as they think it's going to be. It also is that it's not as devastating as they think it might be. That cars will still be able to work. All you got to do is just turn them off and turn them back on again. Even the computerized cars, older cars certainly won't be affected as much by an EMP because they don't have computers and things like that. But so EMPs are burst high up in the atmosphere, and their fireball and their blast does not come down to the ground. It's designed to send out an electromagnetic pulse as far as possible. So it's done very high in the air, and it's designed to burn out electrical systems. So an EMP will not take out any of the population unless you're reliant on electricity, like somebody who's on a respirator or things like that. But these hospitals have generators, and in theory the generators burn out too. So if you're reliant on electricity, you could have a problem. But if you're not, you're okay for that. But if you've got an EMP blowing off in the atmosphere, unless it's a terrorist attack, that's just the first salvo of what's coming. So what do you think about DEFCONlevel.com? Oh God, these people, this person I should say. We spend more time undoing the damage that person does, because he is a doom porn guy. He makes these ridiculous statements. He doesn't understand what DEFCON levels are. He doesn't understand what they mean. And he makes these, he purports to tell you what the DEFCON level of different military branches are. And way buried in there, it says these are just guesses. But you really have to look. In our system, we're pretty upfront that these are not, that we don't give the DEFCON level of the U.S. military. We say right up front, DEFCON warning system is a private enterprise. We don't represent the alert level of any military branch. And DEFCON level, you got to dig real deep in order to find that disclaimer. And what can you say about somebody who their site is technically called DEFCON level warning system? What can you say about somebody who had to steal their name from us in order to get people to visit him? So, take that for what it is. If you think that they know that he knows what he's talking about, then by all means, then go visit him, and you should be digging your fallout shelter now, because he's got the levels so high. It's just not realistic how high they are for how long they've been. This guy just does not know what he's talking about, and he's caused an awful lot of trouble and an awful lot of panic that we're always having to go in and calm people down and tell people what things really are, how things really work. And we spend way too much time doing this because he's got this reach by riding on our coattails, and because people want to believe the worst, and he puts out the worst. Therefore, they're gonna go to his site because he's telling them what they want to hear and not what they need to hear. What the truth is, he's just doing this for the clicks or the advertisements or whatever. So, if you want to listen to him, go and listen to him. If you trust him, trust him. If you want to listen to us, listen to us. If you want to trust us, trust us. You do what you want to do. But that's what I think about DEFCON level. You ask me what I thought. That's what I think. It's just, he stole our name, he stole our idea, he stole what we did, and he does not know what he's talking about. So there you are. What is the internal process to determine the DEFCON level? So what we do is we have a staff. Some people think that I just run the site by myself. I don't. I actually have a staff. There's a deputy director who's able to take over the system if I'm not available. We have staff under him, and it goes me, and then it goes him, and then we have regular staff, and they advise. And what we do is we all look at we all gather intelligence. We look at what's going on. We look at open source intelligence. We have some channels inside certain places that can tell us things that are not available to the public. We analyze all that, and then contrary to popular belief, we do not vote. There is no vote to determine what the DEFCON level is. The staff doesn't gather around the table. I think it's DEFCON 2. I think it's DEFCON 4. I think it's DEFCON 5. And we all come to a consensus. There's no vote. There's no consensus. This is a monarchy, and I sit as king. I alone determine what the DEFCON level is. If I'm not available, the deputy director determines what the DEFCON level is. The staff advises. I'm the one who makes the decision. I make the final decision. It's all me. The reason we do this way is because we understand what it is to put out a DEFCON level, whether it's 5 or if we have to increase it to 3 or 2 or, God forbid, 1. We understand the gravity of that. And if we spread that out, then it doesn't carry the same kind of weight. Well, although we're at DEFCON 3, I voted for 4, or I voted for 2, or we were too late. I thought we should have been at 1 already, but this guy over here said 5. When one person is doing it, all the onus is on him, or me. Let me make it personal. All the onus is on me, and I had better darn well get it right. And if I'm raising the DEFCON levels of 3 or 2, I'd better understand the consequences of what that is going to mean, because I know we have a lot of people who look at us. We have governments that look at us, and we've had people go into serious panics because we raised the DEFCON level. and we take all this into account. We're not going to hold the DEFCON level back because we're worried about someone panicking, but we understand that we're just not going to arbitrarily raise it because we want some advertising money or we want people to come and look at us. We're going to raise it because it needs to be raised, and we want that gravitas on the person who raises it. So everybody makes a recommendation. Everybody gets input, but one guy makes the call. The buck stops here. Next question is, my phone with 40% of charge turned off 8 to 9 times when I try to make normal calls, some virus and some chips. Some people take this Ask Me Anything way too seriously. You know, you get one question and this is what you ask. I'm kidding. It is Ask Me Anything. You know what? You've got a bad battery in there. Maybe try replacing the battery. I don't know much about cell phones. That's my guess. In the event of nuclear war, would all parties likely do strategic targets first and have multiple subsequent attacks, or just let them all rip? More likely, you're going to have a buildup, and it is going to be strategic targets first. You're not going to go for your cities first. That's a waste. You're going to knock out your opponent's military and retaliatory abilities, and then you're going to go for reconstruction, because just because you wipe out the military, you don't want them building back up and then coming back and retaliating. So you're going to want to, that's when you're going to want to wipe out the cities and the economic and the communications and things like that. But you don't want to waste your first targets on that, because you don't want them to be firing back at you first. So you're going to take out the command and control and their silos, their subs, if you can find them, and things like that. So no, the cities will not be the first ones to be hit, and it's really not going to be an all or nothing. It's not going to be just let them all rip at the first sign. It's not going to be things are going, and then suddenly every missile is going to fly. It's going to be a little bit here. It's going to start a little bit, and it's going to build up, and it's going to build up. The day after actually does a pretty good build up to World War III. Threads. I like Threads. I think it's a very good movie. I'm not exactly sure their buildup is quite what I would agree with. I think Day After does a little bit better on that side. So there you are. But those are a couple of good movies to watch to see how a nuclear war would build up. Besides potassium iodine, would you have any suggestions for anti-radiation medications to stock up on? No, there are no anti-radiation medications outside of potassium iodine, and potassium iodine only works on a certain type of radiation, and it only works on the thyroid. What it does is it builds up in the thyroid and prevents the radiation from getting into those cells. So if you take potassium iodide, that doesn't mean you can go running around and fall out. That's not how it works. It's very specific and on a very specific radiation and a very specific part of your body. So there's no magic pill against radiation. This is not Star Trek or Doctor Who. There's just no such thing. So don't. I think potassium iodine is very, very overrated. I do have the stuff. I do keep it stocked. I think it's something you should have, but it is not a panacea for radiation. So please don't rely on that stuff to protect you from nuclear war, because it's not going to. What conflict will be the first to cause DEFCON level 1? I don't know. I always thought it was going to be North Korea. Now I'm not so sure. I could be surprised, and it could be Pakistan and India. Iran may suddenly launch a nuclear attack on Iran. I am not so sure about that. At least not first. I think somebody else is going to be first. I think we're going to, like I said before, I think we're going to have a limited nuclear war first, which will embolden militaries to say, see, we can survive a nuclear war, so it will lower the threshold for future nuclear wars. I think we're going to have a short one first. I still think it'll be Korea, but I'm not as sure as I used to be. If MAD is the only option, why is there a DEFCON 1? Why do you get cancer screening if cancer is going to kill you? Just so you know it's coming, so you can be prepared. Nuclear war is not the end of the world. It is not the end of you. It doesn't have to be. We've been very adamant about that. So that's why there's a DEFCON 1, to let you know it's coming, so you can get yourself ready. especially because we're supposed to be at DEFCON 1 before the missiles fly. That's the theory at DEFCON warning system. 24 hours before the missiles fly, we'll be at DEFCON 1 in theory. I'm not putting a guarantee on that, but in theory. And I'm gonna say this like I say every single time, because we have to make a guess, an estimate as to when DEFCON 1 is. We could be wrong. DEFCON 1 could happen and things calm down. Great. If we go to DEFCON 1, I hope that's what happens. I hope we are wrong. I hope they back away from the abyss. But that's what it's there for, to warn. We are the watchmen on the wall. So we ring the bell when it's necessary. Where are the bomb shelters? Not in the United States. If you want bomb shelters, go to Sweden. Is it Sweden that has the shelters, or it's Switzerland? I think it's Sweden, where new houses have to have a bomb shelter, a fallout shelter included, but not in the United States. The United States is woefully inadequate when it comes to fallout shelters. Russia, much better. They have a very pro-population philosophy, and they believe in reconstruction after nuclear war. So they've got some really good fallout shelters out there. The United States should be doing that, but the U.S. fallout shelters are terrible. Britain, they're in the same position. Germany, they've recently started restocking their fallout shelters, the bomb shelters, but they don't have enough for their population, nowhere near. Countries really do need to get on the ball when it comes to their fallout shelters. Boxers or briefs? Briefs, actually, I don't see how people wear boxers. They got all bunched up. I don't know how people do that. What happens if we hit DEFCON 1? Well, like I said before, you should be running to your shelter. If you don't have a shelter, you should be building an expedient shelter. But, and I'll get to that in the next question, but that's what happens if we hit DEFCON 1. You should not be going out. More likely than not, there won't be any supplies left anyway, so why bother going out? If you haven't bugged out to your bug out place, your safe hiding place, it may be too late. The roads may be jammed. So if we hit DEFCON 1, you really don't want to be going anywhere. Probably you're not going to be able to. So you should have been prepared before then. So you should be preparing now when you can prepare. Because if you have a shelter but you don't have any supplies, it's not a shelter, it's a tomb. Don't take the philosophy that, well, when nuclear war comes, I'm just going to, sit down and watch the bomb and die. You better hope you're on a bullseye, because if the bomb misses you or you're too far away, dying from radiation sickness is not a happy death. It's considered the worst way to die. So yeah, if you're not sitting on a target, if you're not sure you're sitting on a target, don't go out that way. So, and you really want your family to die that way. Don't have your family turn to you and say, why didn't you prepare? Why are we dying like this when you could have prepared a fallout shelter, when you could have bought supplies? Don't have those kind of faces as your last memory. Any books? Recommend any books or literature for preparing and surviving fallout? Yes, Crescent Kearney's Nuclear War Survival Skills. We have recommended this book so many times. It is a free book. Free, did I mention it's free? You pay nothing for it. It is free. You can get it on our site. You can just download. You don't have to log in or anything like that. There's just a link there. You just download it. It's a PDF file. It's like 100 pages or something like that. If for some reason you don't trust us, you can find it elsewhere. Just to Google search Nuclear War Survival Skills. If you find somebody that wants your information or wants you to pay for it, go someplace else, because like I said, this book is free, no strings attached, free. Great book. It'll tell you the science to look for when a nuclear war is coming. It also has a supplies checklist, and it also will give you some plans for different kinds of shelter, including that expedient shelter that you need to build on the quick. And the plans are pretty good. These shelters are not expensive. Even the good, hardcore, really good fallout shelters that will protect you from a lot of fallout, they're not expensive to make. You don't need these $100,000 fallout shelters. The book will give you instructions to build a really good shelter in your home. So I highly recommend it. Free. What is the meaning of life, universe, and everything. 42. I thought we've already established this. This has been known for years. I don't know why this question keeps coming up. It is 42.
The answer to the ultimate question of life, the universe, and everything is 42.
42?
Yes, I thought it over quite thoroughly. It is. It's 42.
Do you believe we're headed to World War III or something similar? I believe that we will eventually see nuclear war. We have these toys. We're going to use them. Do you really think mankind is smart enough not to use them? If you're a believer in the Bible, if you look at the trumpet and vial judgments in Revelation, they look an awful lot like nuclear war and its aftermath. So I absolutely believe we're headed to a nuclear event. Yeah, World War III. Yeah, I think it's going to happen. I do. Is a tiger still what your fursona would be? What was the name of the book you recommended before with the tigers? I never said fursona. I am into tigers. I am also into alicorns. I have a statue of a couple alicorns on my. That's what I was looking at. I was looking at my alicorns on my desk. I also have tigers all over my den. The book you're thinking of is called Tiger's Quest. It is the story of two tigers and how they must adapt as humans enter their jungle. It's written in the same style as Bambi. There's 5 books in the series: Tiger's Quest, Tiger's Second Quest, After the Quest, Final Quest, and Callous Quest. You can also get them as audio dramas. These aren't just books on narrated books. They're actually dramatized, actors, original music, songs, things like that.
Jella, stay with me. Children, we must split up. If you survive, do not come back, and do not ever go back to the clearing. The time of leaving is now.
Father! There was enough game to last a lifetime. But I guess the killers wanted it all for themselves.
I never knew these killers could be so cruel.
Oh, Clarice! My cubs! Pythus! Bojan! They're gone! No! Tegra!
This is our world. We're the kings. Dominion over every living thing that moves on Earth and all that.
Oh, Creator. How have we offended you so that you would send this curse upon us?
We're not leaving until that tiger is mine. Now start pulling away at this bush, or I swear that tiger won't be the only one who's not coming back alive.
The killers can't be much further behind, and the fire is getting closer.
Then we better hurry up and put you out of your misery.
So you can get those you can get both of those off of Amazon Books, CD Baby for the audio dramas. You can actually go to the website tigersquest.com. The website's not very good though, but yeah, you can go on Amazon and you can find those. All royalties that the author gets go to charity. He doesn't keep any of the royalties himself. So yeah, go ahead and buy the books. You can get them. I think they're like $10 or $12 for the book, or you can get you can download a PDF copy of the book, one of those e-readers or a PDF copy, and for like $2.99 or $3.99 or something like that. The audio dramas they're a bit more expensive. They're like $15, something like that. They also come with soundtracks, so you can hear music plus some bonus tracks and things like that. So yes, I highly recommend those books. They're really good. After the Quest is like really good. It's really kind of dark. Final Quest is even kind of darker. So and then Callous Quest is a bit more light after those dark books. So it's really good read. Maybe one day Walt Disney Productions will pick it up. I think it'll make a good story. Any thoughts on the current change in readiness of Russia's nukes, or apparent change, I should say? They're making a lot of noise about their nuclear weapons, but they really don't want to, get in a tangle with NATO, except for Crimea. We know for certain they will use nuclear weapons to defend Crimea. They want that warm water port. So so Russia's not getting ready to use their nukes now. There's no sign that they're getting ready to use their nukes. But they will if Ukraine goes for Crimea, and Ukraine has talked about it. Call of Duty or Fortnite? Honestly, I've never played Fortnite. I'm not into player versus player. I'm not very good at it, so I don't play Fortnite. So I played Call of Duty. I played the old Modern Warfare 2009 version. They got a nice Red Dawn scenario where the United States gets invaded, so I really, really like that. I actually it's a coincidence. I actually started playing this just recently, like last week or something like that. So I'm not very far into Modern Warfare 2. It's Modern Warfare 2 that I was actually playing. I have Modern Warfare, the first one, when it was on CD, but now the CD doesn't work, and I refuse to pay for it again on Steam. So I haven't played it, but I do remember that being in the sub in the first part of that game. So I didn't like the new Call of Duties, the Advanced Warfare, and I haven't played the new Modern Warfare one. So because they don't have a Red Dawn one, I really like the Red Dawn scenario. So that's what I do. I used to play World of Warcraft, but until they banned somebody for posting a Bible verse in chat. Apparently you can scream at each other about politics, you can talk about sex, you can be racist, you can talk about all sorts of nasty things on there, but no Bible verses. No, can't have. You got to ban the person who did that. So I quit playing. I played World of Warcraft for 10 years. I refuse to play it now. I went over to Final Fantasy 14. I really liked that game, but I just couldn't survive the main story quest line. It just was a slog. So I kind of gave up on that. I don't like Guild Wars. I don't like the company's philosophy. I tried getting into Elder Scrolls Online, but I hate their combat. So I haven't really been able to find a good medieval kind of MMO that has a lot of players to it. So if anybody knows anything, let me know. I might give it a try. I'm looking for something with a lot of players, though, something that's going to survive for a while. So, but I like World of Warcraft, but since they banned the Bible verse over that Bible verse, that just irritated me doing. So I quit. We actually have an article about what happened on the website. So if you want to read what happened about that, you can read it there. What are the launch codes? Contrary to popular belief, they were not 0000000. That was a training thing. So that they were never that. It was kind of funny to hear about, though. But what are the launch codes? I can't tell you. Those are secret, and they will come and get me if I reveal them to you. Great. So now I'm going to have somebody busting down my door because they think I know the launch codes. I don't know the launch codes. It's 42, maybe. With the reports of many wanting Putin removed from office, what do you predict he's going to do? Fall down some stairs? He is not going to give up. I think he may take the Hitler way out. Maybe he's smart enough that he may run to Brazil or something like that. I don't know. You know what? I'm not gonna pretend that I'm so smart that I know what Putin is gonna do in this kind of scenario. I'm gonna say I don't know. I think he's gonna push this Ukraine war as long as he can. I think until he sees a gun at his head, he's not gonna give up. I actually think he just may die in office. He's old enough. There's rumors about him being really sick. I think the odds are he's just gonna croak, and whoever comes in after him, well, his replacement isn't any better. He's actually worse. At least the replacement that we think is going to replace him. But who knows? Who knows? But yeah. So there's rumors he's gonna skedaddle to Brazil. I think he's gonna die. He's gonna die in office if someone doesn't kill him. Father Time is just gonna do it. That's pretty old. What are your thoughts on North Korea's nuclear explorations? Valid or bluster? Oh no, they're very valid. North Korea is pouring all their money into their nuclear weapons program, and there is no sacrifice too great for their people to make for their military. So yeah, they're definitely aiming for New York and Washington D.C. Yeah, they're gonna get that intercontinental ballistic missile to fly over the continental United States. They're gonna do it. I mean, they're not gonna actually do it as a test, but they're gonna get one. That's what they're going for. It is absolutely valid. There's talk that we're going to see another nuclear test. I don't know. Probably most of the tests now they're advanced enough where they can do it all on computer, but they're going to do it just because they're going to want those concessions. They want the boycotts lifted and things like that. So the sanctions lifted. So yeah, it's all very valid. Let's see. Next question. Is Russia, Ukraine, China going to start World War III to take public interest away from the contents of Hunter's laptop? No. No. They're going to start World War III for other reasons. It is not about Hunter's laptop. How Hunter's laptop shakes out, you know what, I'm going to be a bit cynical. I have told you before I'm a secessionist, so I really don't ascribe to either political party, but I'm going to tell you that nothing is going to come of Hunter's laptop because Democrats can do no wrong. If it was a Republican had a Hunter laptop, he'd be in jail already. That's just how politics work in the United States. That's how the media works in the United States, and there you are. Lastly, last question. Does your mommy bring you lunch while you're posting in the basement? My mom passed away in 2005, you insensitive jerk. But actually, I do work in a basement. My office is in my basement. I have a two-story log home with a basement, so it's nice, and it gets really super cold down here once the cold gets into the concrete walls. But this is where I work, and I do take my lunch down here somewhere. It is generally a jelly sandwich or potato chips, or very often just chocolate, because I really like chocolate, and I'm really thin, so I need the calories, and the sugar helps my stomach feel better. So that's what I do. So actually I do my posting from the basement. I really actually do. So that is all the questions we had for this session of Ask Me Anything. Ask Me Everything, Ask Me Anything. I hope it was informative. Thank you for your questions. We'll do this again next year. Hopefully there's no World War next year. Hopefully things calm down. But in the meantime, please visit us on our website and our community forum, community.defconwarningsystem.com. We'd love to hear from you there. You can ask us anything there at any time. Like I said, we don't sell your information. Please turn off your ad blockers. That is how we make our money. In the meantime, thank you very much. I am Thomas Longo. Thank you for joining us.